The overall theme today is this, and I'm sure that most of you know this. At least when you were a child, you probably tried to solve it. It's a Rubik's Cube. And what we are trying to show today is that this is the idea, but the reality is something like this. The reality is something like this. Whatever we do, whatever we say, it has an impact on another color. So what we're trying to do is to focus at the refugee settings, to focus on, let's say, a refugee camp where, for example, in Dadaab, last year, we had 40 NGOs, 5 UN agencies, the government, private sector, and the media trying to communicate to the communities. And this, of course, can lead to an overflow of information. It can create conflicting messages. And on the other extreme, if there's some very controversial political issues happening, especially in Dadaab, sometimes we wouldn't say anything. And this would lead to rumors, tensions, and sometimes even riots on the camps. So this is something we would like to focus on how we are all interconnected. And I know we are all very tired. I'm going to leave now and leave the floor to the first partner, which is Refugees United. And welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I know the beers are closed, but I hope you're going to be fresh for the last session here. Imagine that you lost contact to either your child or your mom. That is what a lot of people is facing in Dadaab, in Kakuma, in Somalia, in a lot of places. So what we do, we are Refugees United, an NGO which is trying to help these people to be reconnected. So I'm here with Fahia, which is came from have been in Kakuma, and she's now working with us to helping other refugees. So how do we help people? We build a tool, an open web tool, which is actually able for both refugees themselves and somebody to help the refugees to register and try to find their lost ones. So together with strong partners like Red Cross and Intersos and others, we're working with that. It's all about accessibility. We've been talking about how difficult it is to sometimes reach people and having tools which is not accessible because a lot of people have phones but they don't have internet access. So we have a website, and at the moment we're building a USSD service and SMS, which is basically making it possible for people in the camps to access the service. Together with the Safaricom, we are then doing the access free, which is also important for accessibility, that people actually can SMS and access the WAP and USSD for free. I brought Fahia, and she's basically just going to walk you through how she's helping people every day, registering, searching for their loved ones. Give her a hand.
Good afternoon. My name is Fahia Hussein, and I was born in Somalia actually, and I've been in Kenya like for 20 years because now I'm 21 and I was brought in Kenya when I was 1 year old. So I grew up in Kakuma camp, and actually I'm setting an example because I don't know where my family are. So I am using this tool actually. It has built my hope up. And I am also an outreach officer of Refugees United, and I'm representing Somali community. Actually, I tell them what I give awareness to Somali community, and our offices are at the UNHCR. And actually, they come there for UN appointments, and aware of Refugees United, I give them the announcement and awareness. And actually, most of them are so happy about it, because most refugees don't know where their family are. So actually, I register most of them. And this is how it goes, because I have to tell them what the information that are public and the information that are private. Because most refugees, they're being searched by enemies, and some ran away from political persecution. So I have to inform them what is private and actually what is public. And I've registered most of them, and I give them my account to see how they are searching. So, and my telephone number, so they keep on calling me, and actually they send me emails, so that shows how actually they are searching. And I'm really happy about how the refugees are actually, they're giving me a positive reaction to Refugees United. Thank you.
Like when they register, one of the most important things to just be a little bit functionality about it is that they actually get notifications when they register and also when they have new messages, which has a huge impact because it's kind of, you register and even if they kind of go back and they can access by themselves on mobile phones and internet cafes, they're so busy with so many things, so maybe they don't go back so often, so it's very important to use the pushing SMS to actually get them back to the platform. So scaling up, of course, organization like us, which is basically between 10 and 20 people, we partner up with strong other organizations who help build both awareness, educate in the camps, Kakuma, Dadaab, we are in Somalia, we are in Uganda, we're starting up in Tanzania, we are in Egypt, starting up in Yemen. So we partner up with some very strong organizations, but we also, to build awareness and to be able to push communication to people, partner up with strong mobile operators in the world. So we have a very strong relationship with Safaricom here in Kenya, providing the free data and a lot of other things. We have a strong relationship with Ericsson, who is helping us, giving actually the contact to the carriers. So it brings out that we can basically, like at a small NGO, put some awareness out there and make it happen that people can not only register with help from here, but also by themselves when they hear in the radio and things like that. What our mission is of course, to do reconnections, and luckily enough, it happens. And I think Fahia maybe would tell one of the examples.
Okay, actually we've been having some reconnection during this month, actually in Kenya and even Uganda. And as you can see, this is one of the true stories, reconnection that actually it came out of Refugees United. So this guy here is Kirusha, and he lost his sister, and he found his sister through our tool, Refugees United, and you can see how he is. And actually, I wanted to let you know that right now we are having like 180,000 refugees who are using Refugees United, our platform.
Just some last words about awareness. Earlier today we had a well-told story talking about their studios, and I think, and radio and SMS, and we actually partnered up with them and make them do a specific cartoon for actually telling about what is this tool about, what is this organization about, how do you use it yourself. It's just about to be printed. We're looking forward. So making awareness campaigns by radio, which we also do in Dadaab, but also doing like targeted SMS campaigns whereby Safaricom can say all the active mobile phones by a certain mast, which is active. So specific broadcasts to specific areas saying, did you lose contact to family? Use this tool for free. And then together with these comic books, bringing them out, and then also having our partner organizations on ground and outreach officers basically building new ambassadors who's going back to their family and telling them about the tool is going to be the way to go forward. And our goal is, together with Ericsson and our partners, to reach 1 million registered by 2015. So the whole awareness is so important to scale up. I mean, we can register 12 people and be happy, but if we need to scale big, we need to have this awareness. And we're working with people like Filmate and stuff like that. So I will give the cube to Filmate, say thank you.
I describe myself as a storytelling activist. So I'll just give you a very brief introduction what Filmate is about. So as it says there, Filmate, basically we use the power of film and media to empower communities to tell their stories and basically to give communities a voice. In doing that, of course, there are some NGO terms which get thrown in, like disseminating information, creating media, but I won't use those terms for now. I think in simple terms, we simply give people voice, and how we do that is through three main methods. One is that we teach refugees, mostly we teach refugees in Kakuma and in the Dab. We teach them how to create content, and this is video content, to address their own needs, their own issues, to talk about their lives in the community, and the kind of problems that they face. So it is very easy for for somebody like me as a filmmaker to go and make a film about you. But what I think makes more sense for us is to give you the tools so that you can create your own your own films and tell your own story. So we have produced lots of refugee filmmakers who are documenting life in Dadaab, documenting life in Kakuma, talking about issues like health issues, cholera, or conflict issues, interclan, tribalism kind of conflict, but also just the things that they like, talking about love, talking about football, I mean, just things that people want to enjoy. So, whereas the image that you get of refugee camps is, tents with desolate and hopeless people. If you go to Kakuma and today, or if you go to the Dab, you'll find a thriving film industry there. The other thing that we do is we help to basically create content, and this is where we partner with people like UNHCR. When we went there and started showing films, for entertainment's sake, they were struggling to, holding workshops with communities, trying to teach them stuff. Nobody was attending those workshops. Instead, guys were coming to watch the films that we are showing. So they figured out, wow, why don't we just put all our information in film, And so we've partnered with UNHCR, with people like CARE, who I hand over this thing to basically create lots of content about, if you want to talk about, early marriage, if you want to talk about FGM, if you want to talk about conflict transformation. So that's the second thread of our program, which is basically making media, creating content. And finally, making films is good, but it's not good if nobody's going to watch them. So one of the things that then we do is that we actually then, show films through mobile cinema, and this could be through big outdoor screenings, or they could be through, group viewing with intense discussions on the issues at hand. Yeah, I think I've talked about all this, so we can skip them. I make films. I don't work very well with PowerPoints. So. Yeah, so like I said, in Kenya here, we work mostly in Kakuma and Dadaab, and I will tell you briefly about our programs in Nairobi and Mombasa, but also we've worked in other regions in the world, Colombia, Haiti. Our main office is in New York, and our second biggest office is in Nairobi, but we've also worked in places like Burma. Now, from our experiences in the refugee camp, and we've worked in the refugee camps here in Kenya since 2001, and before that in Macedonia in the late 90s. But our experiences in the refugee camps, because we've kind of met some success that we did not anticipate ourselves. You know, we've seen people becoming more confident, people taking issues by themselves and, you know, trying to find their own solutions. We asked ourselves, can we then try and see if we can replicate these kind of models in, you know, in places like Kibera, in places like Mombasa. So we've then, you know, crawled out of the refugee camps where we were hiding, and now we've gone to Kibera, and we've been running 2 interesting projects there. But like I said, our main principle is to come with these tools to the community, you know, give the tools to the community, let them make the films, then let them use those films by themselves to advance some kind of dialogue. And so what I have, I mean, with me here is Lilian, who's actually one of our partners in Kibera. I mean, she's been in our program, you know, she's participated in making films. One is called Sitakime, which is about, you know, gender-related violence in Kibera. She's grown up in Kibera, so that is like her home, you know. So she's come, she's made this film, and she's now using this film by herself, you know, with her colleagues to reach out to her own community. So it is not a case of outsiders coming to save you, but it's a case of the people there, you know, creating this content and then talking, you know, having a dialogue as a community. So I'll let her speak briefly about what she does, but I don't want to speak on her behalf.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lilian Auwor, also well known as Stella Maris. Okay, I'm a girl who was born and raised in Kibera. The entire of my life I've been in Kibera. So when, for the past 3 years, there was this audition that came in Kibera about Sitakimia. I went for the audition and I became lucky to be part of that film that was shot by Film Aid International. I took a role as Stella Maris, and it was quite challenging, although I enjoyed the role because whatever I was doing is what I've gone through in life, especially in Kibera. So Sitakimia has been there for the past like 3 years, and it's all about sexual gender-based violence, and we normally do it every day from 8 till 1, and then afternoon session we also normally have it. And we have a dialogue with the community. I'm a community mobilizer and a facilitator. I facilitate the Sitakimia film. We also do Forum 43. With Forum 43, we normally show a film concerning Kikulacho. It's all about civic education and leadership and governance. Same thing, we mobilize the community and we facilitate to them. We have a dialogue with them, and it is an open forum to everyone. And we have been working in Kibera with all the 13 locations that are in Kibera. Most of the people in the Sitakimia film are the people living in Kibera. So when we were doing this campaign of sexual gender-based violence, we were like the role model to our community. As in, they were able to come out to speak out the problems that they're undergoing, and we were able to also to assist them, refer them to the right place to get their assistance. So Film Aid has been in Kibera for the past like 4 years, and it is really, it has also created job opportunity to the youth, because with the Sitakimia group, most of the people doing it in Kibera are people living in Kibera. So we are in Kibera, we are like 5 people. We are working also in Mkuru kwa Jenga, and we are in Kawangware and Madare. So all the informal settlement in Nairobi, the Sitakimia film and the Forum 43, it's going on. Thank you for that.
I'll just say something small about Forum 43, because probably people are wondering what the hell is that. But basically, the name itself comes from Article 43 of the new Kenyan Constitution, or the current Constitution, and it's about, that article talks about economic, social, and related rights. So basically, this is a forum where we use content like what she's talked about, and others that we've had young people from Kibera, Nakuru, Kisumu, and Eldoret create, talking about, their aspirations, how do they achieve those rights? What's their responsibilities, Is their work to just simply wait for the government to confer this? And I think, my time is up. I still have lots to say. By the way you're looking at me, I'll hand it off.
Thank you, Charles. Good evening. Do you still have the energy? We'll make it very brief. My name is Miriam, working with K International in Kenya. I came with my colleague, Resh Makan, who was in communications previously, but right now she's in knowledge management, and so she still had to come here because she still has communication at heart. CARE is an international NGO that seeks a world of hope where we have overcome poverty, alleviating suffering, and people living with dignity. We have been in Kenya, we have been operating in Kenya since 1968, and we have programming in Western Province, Nyanza, central part of Kenya, eastern, northeastern part, where we have operations in the Dadaab refugee camp. We have been in Dadaab since the inception of the refugee camp, so you can say like we've been there from the beginning to now. Our Dadaab operation we have programming in terms of water and sanitation and hygiene, wash, education, community services, food distribution, and gender-based violence interventions. As CARE now works with very vulnerable persons in Kenya, we hold ourselves, we are very committed to ensuring that we deliver quality and accountable programming. And we take accountability seriously and at heart, and we look at it in terms of not just looking at it's as delivering, improving the work and the quality that we do, and also looking at the impact of the work that we have done with our beneficiaries. We look at it in terms of three things. One, taking account of the beneficiaries, the people we serve. What do we mean by taking account of them? We don't just deliver things because we think this is what we think is best for them, but we deliver what is good for them. We involve the beneficiaries to let us know what they need. We give account to them. By this we mean like sharing information, the relevant information that they require at a timely level and using different media of communication. And that aspect is where we talk about being held to account by the people we assist. There's one thing about giving them whatever we think they need, the way we give them, but we also need to know that we may not be perfect. So we have to give them a room to hold us to account. So those are the three key components that makes our commitment as CARE to accountability. And looking at these, we use various avenues as you communicate to the beneficiaries, through billboards, through megaphones, through participatory education theaters, educative theaters, the pet performances, having block-to-block visits as we share information and receive information so that we can use that information to improve our programming, through the leaders that are there, through the refugee staff that we have, who are over 3,000 refugee staff, through SMSs, real programming, and many other things. And we do this not only on our own, because you can imagine, as Bettina was introducing, how many agencies are there. And we need, the beneficiaries need the information on what services are available, where they can get the services, who provides them, and if they have any issues, where they can go to. So you can imagine over 30 NGOs going to the same community and telling them, we talk about CARE, FILME goes there, talks about itself, IRC, will bring a lot of confusion. So we don't do this in isolation. We have a lot of collaboration. And that is why this box is working, is had a lot of meaning in the way we work in the Dadaab refugee camp. Previously, we've worked with FILME in developing several films that we use for information sharing. And we've even gone to the communities on the same day, same session, but providing different information that we may provide using a different mode, and then FilmAid now closes down with a more energetic and a more appealing way of showing film. FilmAid has even, and the beauty of collaboration with people like the collaboration with the staff that are in the DAB and the agents that are in the DAB is because it becomes very cost effective and cheap to operate. Like recently, in November, FilmAid made a documentary on food distribution. We do food distribution. They did it, and it is shown on the food distribution points where now they know that the beneficiaries can access the information about their entitlements, if they have any issues, where to go. So this is the kind of collaboration that we have. We realize that when we talk about accountability, people look at it in terms of policing. And we want to build a culture where people now use it as a learning. Feedback is important. We need to receive feedback, as it now makes us know where we are going short and then how to improve. And the complaints mechanisms are in place in the DAB for refugees as well as for the staff. And there's a need to have mechanisms in place that are accessible and safe and confidential so that people can be able to voice their concerns. And of course, when it is complete, we also have a way of giving them feedback. We need to have a competent staff or team to handle complaints. There's one thing about having a complaint mechanism in place and not doing effective handling. That will even be worse than not having one at all. And the most important thing is learning from the feedback we receive from the beneficiaries and other stakeholders. Learning from it, not looking at it in terms of people are policing us, but it's an opportunity for us to pick out what is not working well and improve. And as we have there, we know that for the staff, because most of the time when you talk about setting up accountability mechanisms, staff feel like you're putting them on the spotlight. You're allowing them to be scrutinized by the beneficiaries and other stakeholders. So we have to begin from ourselves. And now with that, we have various mechanisms in place available for staff to raise concerns that they may have. And this is because whatever it is that we get at home is what we would give out to the others. So we have to put our house in order to allow our staff also to have a voice so that when they see that their voice is heard and their feedback is taken into consideration, when the beneficiaries also raise concerns with them, then they can also handle their feedback the right way. We have, after the consultation with staff, we came up with an online complaints mechanism, which we called it the Bell. And it was launched early this year. It is still at the piloting stage for the next 6 months until March next year. And then we, of course, will learn from it and improve. We don't work in isolation, as I said earlier on. And there's a community communication working group in the DAB, which all these members, partners, and others are part of, where they meet monthly, and we talk about how to share the information. We don't, because we want to avoid where everybody is going out to share information with the same beneficiaries, so we agree on, like FilmAid has a good way of sending out SMSs in big numbers, so we give them information, they send it out. We also have our own SMS that may not target all of them, but specific numbers and a way of receiving feedback. We have been working with Star FM that is actually very well known in the DAB, and like it's listened to in the blocks. And we've used them to raise awareness on some key messages during the calendar events, during like the anti-FGM campaigns. We used IFM. They have experts being called in, and there's a discussion and many others. And we're working on collaborating with other FM stations that are in the DAB so that we can use as many different modes of communication that we have in the DAB to reach out the beneficiaries.